Virgo, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early June 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Virgo collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Virgos in early June 2026? It's Gemini season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Virgo in early June. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick for my good friends, please. All right. Yeah. Sometimes, I read jumpers, so sometimes the deck is like, no, we're not going to go quick. We're going to get it out very, very specifically. Okay. So I like the card. It's not necessarily a bad one. This young individual always reminds me of like a combination between the Page of Cups and Page of Pentacles. So I like it. It's good. It's fresh. There's a optimism that I always hold to this card, which is pretty cool. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have this young individual here, a little yin yang on the hat, which kind of represents a state of balance and calm. Usually, pages, they're a very youthful, promising new type of energy. Playing the little lute, rainbow coming out with the music. So, this is a very creative, expressive type of energy, which I think is fantastic. Now, we will talk about the downside of page energy, but initially, when I see this, I'm like, oh, I like it. If you have your creative juices flowing, whether it's creative solutions to issues or problems or just creativity bug, moving that inner emotional energy outwards into some sort of vehicle could be very important. So not suppressing, pushing outward. I think that's a really good thing. But I just love this. It's just super creative and there's a nice flow. But also when it comes to any page energy, there could be a big importance around communication, whether a talk that you have had, a conversation that you want to have, there could be importance around that. The big downside to pages is sometimes they could be bashful, they could be unsure. They could be extra cautious and they can suppress things. So watch out for all of that in this time. But for the most part, I like this, especially if we get more recurring page energy in the main part of the spread. But we're going to let that page chill right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for my beautiful Virgo friends. What's happening? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So there was a little bit of energetic choppiness. The reading was titled An Unexpected Problem. Now, problems, just like everything, they range, right? There's a scale. Sometimes it's minor, sometimes it's just an inconvenience, sometimes it's something major. But to me, it did feel like one just kind of popping up out of the blue, where things are just going along, moving how they're supposed to, and then boop, this problem pops up. So I would say even for the next week or so, because energy can bleed over, keep your eye on that. But, let's see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for my Virgo friends. What's happening in early June, please? Okay. Well, combo platter. Okay. So right here in position number 1, we got the beautiful Queen of Cups. She's a nice card. I like her. I mean, it could be another individual, of course. But the energy right next to her, got the 5 of Pentacles. So we're going to have to see, is this a mixed bag type of reading that we're going to have? Let's get one more out here, then we'll piece it together. As far as the elements go, it looks pretty good to me. Thank you. Thank you. Cool. So we do have a little combination of things, because right next to it, we do have the 6 of Pentacles, which is the complete and total opposite. Like, these 2 cards oppose each other, and I would dare to say they could cancel each other out. But we also have a bonus, which is, boom, the Tower right there. But it's only a bonus, so we're just going to have to see. Let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like that's very important. It frames the reading and tells us how comfortable you might be with the energy. And as an earth sign yourself, this energy actually works very well, even though it's like not all perfect. So we have a ton of earth, that's your power element, and then we have water. Even though the tower looks all fiery, this is water sign energy. And I always say when you combine earth and water, to me, that represents blessings and abundance. It's very similar to like watering a plant and watching it grow. But right here with the water, right, we'll start with the Queen of Cups and the Tower. The water element is very internal. It's matters of the heart, matters of emotion, how you process emotions. It could be things or people or situations that you're emotionally invested in. Going back to that page energy, water is huge when it comes to creativity, imagination, expressiveness. So very important that these energies continue to show up. So I love the water element. It's big when it comes to partnerships as well. That's something that we shouldn't neglect. But the downside to water is that sometimes it can be very overwhelming. So that's something to watch out for in this time, because water, it waxes and wanes, right? It could go from very shallow to very deep real quick. So we got to watch the emotional ups and downs. But then we have the earth, your power element, your comfort zone, that does balance that water off perfectly. Now, what do we think of with the earth element? Stability, security, predictability. Normally, I think of day to day routine, things that you do normally and often. I think of money, work, business, finance, anything of the material world, home, and family. So you see, we have this very flowy energy, and then we have this very solid energy that kind of work well together. Now, the downside to Earth is sometimes it can be a little stuck. Sometimes it can feel like it's between a rock and a hard place, or something might not be moving how you'd like it to move. But I think I'm feeling optimistic so far. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the beautiful Queen of Cups. Now, this could be a water sign you're connected to, so Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. If not, I always say when it comes to all queens, they represent the emotional, internal aspect of the suit. So, with that being said, you just heard how important water itself is to the emotion. She is a double down of those feelings, she is a double down of those emotions. She could be very tender, loving, caring. This is a shoulder to lean on, someone to vent to. So I love the Queen of Cups energy. And remember, it's not gender specific. She can often sometimes show up when we're feeling a little sentimental or emotionally a bit softer or vulnerable when she's here, which again, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. The downside to the Queen of Cups is sometimes she can suppress everything, which seems to be a theme, like with the page and now her. I suppress. I'm going to push it down, down, down until eventually it comes exploding forth. So we want to avoid any emotional eruptions of any kind when the Queen of Cups is here. But I love her. Usually it's just very soft, gentle, very motherly, caring, affectionate type of energy. So we're going to see what she has to say. For some of you, that could be a literal person, but for others, it could just be an energy you're in or stepping into. That could be very possible. Now, moving to the middle is a spot that we do want to keep an eye on. We have the Five of Pentacles. Doesn't look like the nicest piece of imagery, right? And again, don't worry, we do have something that balances it out coming up next. But we see these people, they're out there in the cold. Sometimes this card can represent issues with work, issues with finances, so watch out for stuff like that in this time. But to me, I generally see this as an energy that's kind of thrown out in the cold. It's very solitary. It could often show up when we're missing something, longing for something, feeling lonely, right? So it's kind of hermit mode type of vibe. So it doesn't have to be the worst, because one thing I always say about all fives, because they can all be a bit of a rough energy, is that they're not permanent. If this is a problem, if this is a situation or just something that's not very pleasant, it is not permanent. This too shall pass. That's what I always say about this one, which I think is great. Now, moving to the next card over is the Six of Pentacles, which, as I mentioned, completely balances this off, because with the Five of Pentacles, it's like very refrained, very to itself, very solitary, and it's having issues. Then we have the Six of Pentacles, which is wide open, having so much that it can give. This is a very charitable energy. Now, yes, can it be karmic? With the scales in here, sure, it can be. But this person is assisting others, helping others, giving of its energy. So when I see it and I think of the money, work, business, finance stuff, I think of improvement, because if you have enough to give to others, that means you have plenty more than enough and then some for yourself, which I think is great. So again, it's very charitable and giving and caring. So we do have this strong sentimentality throughout the reading itself. Now, the downside, sometimes this energy can give a little too much, right? Like this is one of my big cards of gift giving. I know it's not quite your birthday just yet, but I always see this in a sign's birthday season. So I'm not sure if you are planning on giving or receiving a gift, but again, it's excess. So this energy here is refrained, restrained, not able to give. This energy has more than enough. So I think that's beautiful. So they do cancel each other out. If you are going through any problems, issues, situations, and you need help, don't be afraid to ask for it, because that's also how this energy plays off, where it's like this person's having some problems, this person is here to help, right? Like they're kind of helping each other out. So moving to the bonus, and we'll clarify all that kind of stuff. We do have the Tower, big Scorpio energy, which a lot of people might know. Scorpio and Virgo energy usually works together pretty well, but the Tower is shock. Right now, can it represent endings? Sure. Could it represent, rough things? Absolutely. But sometimes I always say a tower is not necessarily a bad thing. Like it can be a good shock, it can be a good shakeup. And when we go from this flowy energy from difficult to positive, could there be a turnaround or a change or like a drastic increase? Potentially. With what I'm seeing, we do need to clarify it. Pardon me, but the tower itself, it can cause a little upheaval. So that's something we need to watch out for. It's just very intense. I want to dive deeper on all this, Virgo. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for our beautiful friends? And yes, this is where I go intuitive, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the beautiful Queen of Cups. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Virgo, could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is the Queen of Cups here? Why is the Queen here? Thank you. Cool. Queen of Pentacles, stable. These energies balance each other off, Virgo. Very similar to how these two balance each other off, this one kind of cancels out. Now, for some of you, that could be a really great stabilization. Remember, the Queen of Pentacles is one of your power cards, could represent another earth sign as well. But she represents inner stability, inner security, where it's like, I feel safe, I feel comfortable, I feel like I'm at a very predictable place. So there's just something about the stability that this offers that makes me very happy. Now, again, with the queens, they represent the internal aspects of the Sioux. We already spoke about like the earthy energy. It's like very predictable, routine, money, work, abundance, all that kind of stuff. So she is very similar to the Empress when I see her. So when we combine the water and earth, these two energies that work together as opposed to against each other, and same with what we're seeing over here, it's like all the energies working together for a common purpose. So there's like help, there's assistance, there's growth. That's what I really love here. So right here on the front, these double queens, they work together for blessings and abundance, honestly. So if you have been having any issues, problems, or a difficult time, I love the stabilizing effect, because it's like, okay, we are here. This is where we are. Let's move forward. It's giving me like one of those energies. Very pragmatic in its approach. So I like it. It already feels like a win. I'm not going to call it that just yet until we get to the back end, but it already feels like a win of some kind, because these energies, they work together for more, right? They don't just stabilize, they increase. They play off of each other. Let's keep moving over. Let's see what the Five of Pentacles has, and we'll move over to the Six. So lots of earth here, which is good for you. So why is the Five of Pentacles in the mix for Virgo? Why is it here? Okay. Okay. So we do have the Three of Cups in reverse underneath this. Now, for some of you, and everyone knows that the Virgo power card is the Hermit, right? It's a very solitary energy. I'm not saying all of you are definitely going to be in hermit mode, but like when I have the Five of Pentacles with the Three of Cups in reverse, it's like there's not many people I really want to talk to right now. It does seem like a very private type of energy. So regardless of what you may or may not be going through, even if you're normally a very outgoing type of individual, when I see the Five of Pentacles, Three of Cups in reverse, it's like I'm not feeling like a people person right now. And that's okay. You don't always have to be, right? You don't always have to share or open up or do this and that. The energy in and of itself seems to be in its own bubble, if that makes sense. So you might be retracting in that hermit mode, or someone you're connected to could be. Now, for another portion of you, the Five of Pentacles with the Three of Cups in reverse, this could absolutely represent a longing or missing, whether that's of a person or whether that's the good old times where it's like, oh, we used to have so much fun. There was so much great stuff and blah, blah, blah. When this is in reverse underneath the Five of Pentacles, it's like, damn, I miss that. Damn, I miss those times. So there is like this little reminiscent effect I'm picking up too. So we have someone in their little privacy bubble. And then we also have like a lot of reminiscing at the same time. or missing of something. We're going to keep going. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on it. Again, still looking at the elements. It's all earth and water here, so they balance. So let's see what the Six of Pentacles has. And even if you are here, right? Even if you are Five of Pentacles, Three of Cups in reverse, things aren't ideal. That's okay because there's so much good surrounding energy. So let's see. Whatever it is, I think it's solvable or at least workable. So why is the... Yeah, there it is. There it is. So more earthy energy. We have the Hierophant in reverse, and I always say that the Hierophant in reverse, since it's Taurus energy, reminds me of the Tower. These two cards are very similar because the Hierophant is normally very planted, very predictable, traditional. This is what it is. It's always been this way. It will always be this way. So when I see the Hierophant in reverse, that is a huge harbinger of like explosive change or shocking change where it's like we're turning this around. We're doing a quick 180. So I think that's good for the vast majority of Virgos because remember I was even saying with this combination, like with the Six Pentacles Tower, that could be a shocking shift in a positive way or shocking increase, win, victory. And I've seen this for a few other signs this week, and you seem to be all in on this energy as well. Now, aside from the tradition, the same old, this is an energy with the Hierophant that's usually within the box. It can be very spiritual, so there's a lot of spiritual protection or nudging towards spirituality here. But again, with this Hierophant that's normally immovable and very planted, and it's business as usual, in reverse, that is uprooting. But I like the uprooting because to me, it is either an explosive or shocking change, but for the better. Sometimes we need these little towers. Sometimes we need the Hierophant in reverse to reach this next stage, next level. And sometimes we don't understand that until we look back in retrospect. So I just love this energy here on the back end. It's like all the good and bad, they like cancel each other out, and we do have this powerful, explosive, or shocking change for the better. So I love this here on the back end. I think most of this reading is very claimable. Even if this isn't your story right this second, I just love the direction it's heading in. So let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. I'm much more optimistic this week than I was feeling last week, that's for sure. But if you kindly look in the box position, number one, we got the beautiful Queen of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, working together, increase, working for something better. So I just love how the energy plays off of each other, where it's like they make up for each other's weaknesses. So I think it's beautiful, the wins and blessings. Now, there is a rough patch when we move to the middle. We have the Five of Pentacles with the Three of Cups in reverse. Some of you might be a little more private than you normally are. You might not be feeling much of a people person, or it's like, I'll just be here in my bubble. There is a bit of a seclusion going on, which is okay. But I also get this like reminiscing or missing or longing for something as well. Moving to the back end, we do have this like 180, this shocking or explosive change in energy overall. So it's like we go from this energy that's down, down, down to up, up, up very rapidly. So I think it's good. I think it's claimable because it goes from like an energy of lack to an energy of overflowing abundance rapidly. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for Virgo. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get it going here. What do we got for the Virgos, please? Thank you. Cool. Five of Swords. Okay. Now, this energy can be a little pushy, a little aggressive when it shows up in the shadows. And I will say the good aspect of the Five of Swords, it is an energy that has a lot of determination, can't stop, won't stop. There's no quit in this Five of Swords. So that's the good aspect. But the real shadow side of this, sometimes it can be an energy that's very confrontational. Sometimes it can be angry and aggressive and very pushy. So in this time, if you're dealing with anyone that's just like too much, too aggressive, or too pushy on you, that's something to watch out for when this is here. Now, for a portion of you, maybe there's something you're a little pissed off about. That's very possible. Or you might be quicker to anger when this card is in the shadows. So that's just something to be aware of. It is a card that kind of focuses on itself. So I do say sometimes it shows up if you're dealing with a very selfish individual. Obviously, that's not for everyone. But the main thing I'm looking at is the aggression. So if it's your determination to keep pushing forward, beautiful. So we're going to let it chill right there, Virgo. That's what I got for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My June calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the June subscriber surprise, doing another winner's choice, the winners, which will be three, will have a choice between either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my all-time favorites, or you can choose a custom pendant from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards in the deck, which one do you feel represents you and your energy best? You could even pick multiple if you'd like. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab /post tab. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.